Hello everyone, my name is Donnie and today we are reading a history of US Volume C, Chapter 43, called Teddy Bear President. Here we go. Roosevelt made a great president, but you knew he would. He was delighted to be president, he said. It was a bully job, he added. No president had ever had such a good time at it and worked so hard, too. The people loved him, the press did too. He was always doing things that made good stories, like the time he went hunting for a bear but refused to kill a helpless little bear. When that story got out, a candy maker in Brooklyn, New York, made a toy bear and called it a teddy bear. He sent it to the president and asked his permission to use the name on more bears. Theodore Roosevelt said yes, and soon people were calling him Teddy Roosevelt. He hated that nickname, but he was stuck with it. The candy maker became a toy maker and got rich. Everyone wanted those bears, and that's how teddy bears came to be. That first teddy is now in the National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., where you can see it. Reporters found TR's children were worth writing about, too. Alice, the oldest, and a teenager, sometimes kept a snake in her purse. Quentin, the youngest, stood on the second floor White House balcony and dropped a huge snowball on a White House guard. It knocked the guard over. All 6 children roller skated in the basement, slid down the banisters, and played hide and seek in the attic. Sometimes government businesses waited while the president played tag with them. But Theodore Roosevelt wasn't just fun and games. He was a strong president. He brought his energy, habit of working hard, and intelligence to the job. He helped see that pure food and drug laws were passed. He found ways to control some of those corporations that were acting as if they were above the law. The biggest of them had turned into trusts. Congress had passed the Sherman Antitrust Act, but no one had enforced it. TR went trust busting. One day in 1905, a struggling poet named Edward Arlington Robinson went to his mailbox and found a letter from the president. It offered him a job that would allow him to keep writing poetry. Theodore Roosevelt invited the great black educator Booker T. Washington to the White House for dinner. Some prejudiced people objected, but that didn't stop TR. President Roosevelt was responsible for building the Panama Canal. That created a water passageway from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean at the midsection of the American continents. Just think about that. It took most ships more than 2 months to make the trip from San Francisco to the East Coast by sailing through the Straits of Magellan at the tip of South Africa. Cutting through Panama was like unlocking a door between the oceans. Look at Panama on the map, which is right here to the left. It should be a simple thing to take some steam shovels to Panama and dig out a canal, shouldn't it? Digging that canal was a nightmare. The map does not show thick jungle, but that was only one of the things the canal builders had to contend with. The worst problem may have been the tiny mosquitoes that carried malaria and yellow fever germs. Nearly 6,000 men died, mostly from disease. There were also accidents and political hassles and enormous engineering problems. It is worth going to the library and finding a book about the building of the Panama Canal. It is some story. Without Theodore Roosevelt, it would have even been more difficult. He had a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. It was an African proverb and TR was always quoting it. He believed that if you show you are strong, no one will pick on you. The big stick he wanted for the nation was a strong navy. He held one. Roosevelt talked a lot about peace and war and soldiering, but his presidency was a time of peace. He was a good diplomat and was able to deal with other countries. After he settled a war between Japan and Russia, he was given the Nobel Peace Prize. He gave the prize money to the nation. He said it belonged to the American people, even though it came at a time he could have used it himself. Today, we think that Roosevelt's most important contributions as president were in the field of conservation. We can thank him for saving many of the public lands that we enjoy today. He did one thing he later regretted. When he was elected president on his own in 1904. Remember, he got the first job because McKinley was killed. He said he would not run for a third term. When his second term was up, he was only 50, and he loved being president. The American people loved having him as president. So, but he had given his word, so he didn't run for re-election. Instead, TR went off to Africa to hunt for big game. And here's a passage about San Francisco being gone, the 1906 earthquake. I will let you read that on your own. And that is it for chapter 43, Teddy Bear President. Next chapter you will be reading is chapter 44, which is about Henry Ford. So, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.